Good morning, guys. What's going on? Just to answer your question, because I know everybody's going to ask me what are you doing up. No idea. So, but anywho, um, I know a lot of you guys have already seen this particular airplane being flaunted all over the tube, all over your usual flight sim news outlets. So it's been out for what, a couple of months now, I think. The Hotstart TBM 900. Um, and yeah, so this one has been exceptionally difficult for me. I'm going off. Exceptionally difficult for me since I don't know, for some reason I've been having a lot of control issues, especially on takeoff roll. So, needless to say, it's been quite a frustrating venture since, like I said, this is probably to date one of the best turboprop simulations I've seen thus far. And yeah, pretty strong statement to say, but we'll go ahead and say it. Especially, I know, for sure in the single engine category. Feel free to remind me of. I'm sure there's some. Well, I'm sure there's a few exceptions. So feel free to remind me in the chat. So yeah, we're in McKinney Airport. We're at McKinney Airport today, and I guess we're going to be decided to take a little trip to a little small airport or a small town called Nacogdoches, and yes. So yeah, 155 miles, I think. Yeah, and we'll probably take her up to 11,000 and see what happens. Got a little little flight plan here on my ALPA flight planner. And without further ado, we'll dive right on in here. See what happens. And yeah, so normally at these nicer regional airports around, a lot of times you'll have the luxuries of a ground power unit. So that's the noise you hear out there, the engine from the ground power unit. One of the cool things about having that little guy up there is it gives us the ability to go ahead and fire this thing up and get everything set up, all of our flight plans and all that fun stuff set up, so we don't have to burn fuel running the generator. So yeah, no start for you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on some power here. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need on power, and we'll go ahead and bring that to GPU. And I do like the fact that once you put a bind on the GPU, there you'll hear the GPU generator kind of wind down a little bit. So let's go ahead and turn this light on. There we go. Much better. All right, so we'll go ahead and clear these enunciations. So the approach they went with this airplane I kind of like, because they went with, you know, the whole experience of owning an airplane up to and including maintenance on it. So you create an airframe, and the airframe itself is tracked. So you have a maintenance log, different expenses. So if you happen to abuse the engine, you might have to replace the igniters, which was at $2,000 for repair, $15,000 to replace. Fluid levels, and your landing gear. You got your tires, brakes, rotors, you name it. You know, it's yeah, it's simulated. So I just realized if you hit landing gear, don't put it up on stands and kill the generator. Interesting. All right, so G1000 package with synthetic vision, which is pretty nice. pretty nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and, like I said, while I have GPU power, I'm going to go ahead and get everything programmed real quick. And park and brake, set that. And we'll try to fire this thing up and get out of here. Alright, so we'll go to flight plan, and that was my old flight plan there. They pushed an update yesterday that included some pretty nice features. I think they added the engine exhaust now with the new X-Plane update. They added that. They also added like a little heads-up display for your angle of attack. Bunch of little cool features. Let's see, we'll clear that real quick. Like I said, Nacogdoches is pretty close, like 155 miles. C2 Kilo Echo Yankee Echo Golf. I've been wanting to stream this thing forever now. So hopefully the takeoff is uneventful. And on the takeoff there, yeah, apparently I'm not the only one with the issue. Personally, I think it's associated to the fact that are you not gonna take it, or are we doing? Associated to the fact that this is such a high fidelity simulation. Until, you know, if your flight controls or your joysticks or whatnot isn't, I'm not going to say set up properly, but set up for this particular airplane, you'll end up having some problems. So if you are having issues with it, you know, I mean, I know most of y'all like me is like, dude, I spent way too much money on these joysticks. It's not joysticks. Just double check them. Like I said, a lot of times it's not so much the joystick, but you know, just a lot of other factors in play. I think the stability augmentation, played around with that, and not to mention that, you know, it is known that X-Plane doesn't handle ground handling all that well, comparatively speaking. What is that? 800 and no, it's not right. Check that. Let's see. So we'll clear that. Yes, and it is Kilo Oscar Charlie Bell. Yeah, that's right. And backspace that. There we go. Alright, that's like halfway normal now. Alright. Let's see, and then we'll take her on up to 11,000. Not 21. There we go. And we are running X-Plane today. Thank God X-Plane finally. No, not X-Plane. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm still early, sorry. Active Sky XP4 X-Plane. Thank God it's finally out. And of course there's some little teething issues, but Hi-Fi Sim's always been really good about updating things on a consistent basis, so I am quite confident they'll get lined out. So if you're not happy with it yet, just hang in there. They'll fix it. Alright, let's get out of here. So, let's see. I'm going to run through this checklist real quick. Let's see. And here are the headphones there. If you click on the headphones, it mutes the noise of the GPU out there. So, it's pretty cool. Alright, so I got our lighting 71 in. Let's see, belts and harnesses, crash lever down, but it's up right now. Sorry. Let's see, ELT's over yonder. That's good. Bleed switch. Off reset. Dump switch guarded. AC switch guarded. Altimeter. Oops, alternate status selector. Which is go away. Let's see. Hotstart selector push. Alright, so starting engine. Oh, in case you're looking for a checklist or don't have one handy, or if you don't have multiple monitors, if you hit the checklist button here, it does have a really thorough checklist there, which I guess for the sake of whatever, we can go through that. Alright, so starting engine checklist, manual override control, which is this guy down here, that's backward. Let's see, throttle cutoff, strobes on, check, and propeller area obviously clear. Aux BP, so it'll be an auxiliary boost pump, that's on there. And we've got a little annunciation here on our cast display that the boost pump is on, so that's good. Check, propeller area, yep. Alright, so engine start switch. So, this process here, you want the NG to be 13% or more within 20 seconds. So, normally you'll see a lot of TBM drivers. They'll press the timer. They'll go ahead and start the timer at this point and count it. But I've yet to find the key command to map it to my joystick. So basically, just kind of try to, if you can, do a little countdown. If not, whatever. So. All right. So start switch. Go ahead and hold it for 2 seconds. Oh, that's right. All right, so remember about the whole high fidelity deal. You'll go here to your payload, and you can see that the door is not fully closed. And you also have covers as well on the engine. You need to remove all of these or you will pay dearly. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but when we remove the static covers, our altimeter just as well. So yeah. And we'll just randomize the load. I don't know. Randomize the load there. Double check your fuel. Come up a little bit on the fuel. And what's that cast message for? Front cargo door open. And then close all that. There we go. Alright. Alright, so it feels good. And then you also want to make sure that the caps are closed. Otherwise you'll leak fuel and it's never fun at all. Alright, so now at this point we're ready. And if you look here at our little center of gravity sheet there, we are within the limits there. We could probably do bringing some cargo forward a little bit just to kind of help. And even if you, okay, so, which this is new to me, so even if you try to adjust the weight here, it'll still open the door. So just FYI. We'll bring some down the back. There we go. Kind of help balance things out a little bit. All right, now at this point we're ready. Let's see. Yep, aux boost pump still on. All right, so we'll go ahead and hit the starter there. We're above 13%. We'll go ahead and bring our condition lever to low idle. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put it in fuel cutoff. And since we did introduce fuel, we might have to motor this engine here. Let's see, let me go. Yeah, I think we're going to motor the engine. Yeah. Oil pressure, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to motor the engine. So, on turboprop aircraft, residual, well, that's pretty much any engine. Residual fuel in the engine there is never good. So basically what we need to do, we want to spin the starter but not introduce fuel, and that process clears a lot of the residual fuel out of the engine. So we won't have a what's called a hot start, which which is detrimental to engines. So let's do this real quick. I'm also giving our starter time to cool off there, hence the reason why I haven't just dived right back into it. And in fact, if you go to your engine temperatures there, you can see the starter coil around 82 degrees Celsius. So we want to, and this is another thing too, like if you look at each of these parameters here, all of this is modeled. So it's conducive to make sure that you try to go through the checklist the best you can, and follow the proper procedures. Otherwise, you'll ruin your airframe and have to create another one, which I have done already. So yeah, we'll give it another minute or so to cool, and we'll get back into it. But while that's going on, we'll jump back outside and kind of take a look at the outside there. It's an awesome model. Of course, you know, while you have the covers on, you can see the where is it? There we go. Oh, there we go. Payload. So, for example, if you have the covers here, you can see it. You know, just the normal, normal eye candy that you see from every other add-on. And of course, the airframe. Now, another thing about the airframe is that the airframes are actually shareable, so you can enable network sharing and add a shared airframe, and you can almost set up kind of like like a club situation, to where you're sharing, multiple users or sharing one airframe. So I mean, it's pretty cool. It's actually really in depth for the amount of money you spend, which I think was like only like $80. So, all right, let's see. I think there's actually a published part. Let's see. Or might not be. All right. So what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna motor the engine, right? So Gonna make sure the ignition is off. And let's see, we're gonna make sure the aux boost pump is still on. And let's see, we're just going to clear fuel and vapor internally trapped. Alright, we're going to motor it for a max of 15 seconds. So we'll go ahead and put this to on. Alright, now we'll put the starter to abort. And that should clear any fuel that's internally trapped in the system there. So alright, so double checking here, make sure. Okay. Alright, cool. So what we'll do here, we'll go ahead and give her another try. So we'll make sure that's good. Ignition, switch, auto, boost pump is on. Alright, oh, it should be good. Alright, so we'll go ahead and try it again here. Alright, and we'll go ahead and bring in the fuel. And there's ITT coming up right there. Alright. Looks like ITT stay within limits. NG is coming up. Past 52%. Starter is disengaged. Alright, looks like everything is kosher so far. Oh, good. Or check here. Alright, so what we'll do, we'll put our source from GPU to battery. And now we can go ahead and, yep, we know. Go ahead and disconnect the battery. And we'll go ahead and bring up our throttle. To flight. And as our prop RPM comes up, we should get a little bit of a cool down our ITT, which is your inter-turbine temperature. Alright, looks like that's lining out right there, so we'll go ahead and turn on our main generator. Alright, engine parameters checked, everything looks like it's lining out, and okay, so we'll go check. That's good. Throttle set to fly idle. Engine parameters checked. Aux boost pump fuel switch. Back to auto. And there we go. And let's see here. We're hitting. Go ahead and check. We're hitting next. Yep, that's good there. Make sure we're at. Make those 80 amps. Alright, so check. Alright, so we're going to test the standby here. So we'll go up to, standby. Up there. Alright. Engine, of course, yes, we're going to have that enunciation. But looks like we are still charging. Alright, and we'll put her back on main. And of course, this is just checking your standby generator. So right now we'll go ahead and turn on our trim switch, cinch all of our trims, our elevator, and yaw trim, all that is electrically powered. So make sure that's on. Oxygen supply, we're just going to say that's good. Check. Play button, display backup button. See, no idea where that's at. We're just going to say that's good. And let's see here, in our bleed air switch, set to auto. The ITT is going to come up a little bit. And AC is on. Check, check, pressure mode switch as required. Now, I believe you're supposed to sync FMS landing field elevation synced. Okay, here we go. So that's let's go to the map. Back to checklist. All right, so that's good. Temp control selector looks about, well, looks fair middling, so we'll call that good. That's good. Standby instruments check. LFE selection done. Altimeter setting. We're at 3023, I believe. So we'll put that there. Check. Pitch on roll trim. So we'll go ahead and set up our trim to. I didn't zoom in much. We'll set our takeoff trim up, which you can see the indication there. Rudder trim helps out a lot. You want to go about halfway is what a lot of people have been saying, and actually it's kind of been working for me. So we'll try that ish. See what happens. Hopefully we don't. Yeah. Tokyo drift out of control. System de-ice panel check, which we're going to need our pitot heat. Going to need that. It's a given. We're also going to want to turn on our inertial separator, which, and we'll go ahead and put that to auto. There we go. Inertial separator, which is basically like a little door in the bottom of the engine. So instead of debris getting sucked into the engine and ruining all the innards, basically it just goes out a little bypass door and spits it out. So that's done there. Check this plate next. All right, generator load. Good. Taxi light. That's just our cast indication that the inertial separator is on. So that's good. Taxi light on. Passenger briefing, yep. Parking brake. Put foot and brakes off. And left and right brakes, we'll check that here shortly. Throttle check. Gas check. Landing field elevation, we've checked that. Next, and yeah, we're good. Oh, yeah, we got to do the, especially this first flight of the day, we got to go ahead and do this check as well. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to, and we're just going to be oh, yeah, let's do this. And on this aircraft, it's literally like the real deal. You need to actually apply the brakes, then apply the parking brakes. There you go. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to test our feathering system on our propeller to make sure that we're getting good oil flowing into the prop governor and all that fun stuff. So should be real quick. Let's see here. All right, so I believe it said 3 times. I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Alright, so I'm try the switches here. Actually, I might be able to do it from here. Double check my actual checklist. AP trim switch, take off. Guys. Alright, so it says feather twice. We'll try this. Hopefully I don't destroy anything. Alright. Back to flight idle. And it really kind of brings up the anxiety, not to like an unhealthy level, but you're like, oh my gosh, you know, try not to, you try to be as gentle as you possibly can. But like I said, basically this is all you're doing, just making sure you're getting good oil flow in the prop system, so you won't run into any issues down the road there, which could end up leading to a costly repair. Alright, so rest of this we'll take care of and get down. And kind of zoom in there, give you a little handy dandy map. Alright, so let's go ahead and disengage parking brake, and we don't need our lights anymore. Should be about good. And what we'll do here, we're at, I notice sometimes she can come off a little fast, so just bring your throttle into excuse me, taxi range, and helps out a lot. And I have track IR turned off for the time being. So yeah, and just, you know, everybody's like, what the heck is Nacogdoches? It's like a little town, southeast Texas, I believe. Which is kind of one of the beauties of X-Plane. You know, you have to, you know, there's actually scenery there. It's not just an airport and like a building. You know, somebody who, you know, probably lives around the area, you know, decides, hey, you know, I'm gonna throw some, make this thing look a little more like home, and that's what they did. Which, you know, it's kind of, I do love that about X-Plane. They make it, you know, much easier to put out scenery for it. I don't know, sometimes you just kind of, it just looks better. I don't know why. It just does kind of. I think I can take the headsets off. There you go. So you can kind of hear the increase in noise. From the engines. Well, I say engines. I've been in tube liners way too long. Engine. You can really hear it out there. And we'll just back her down a little bit. Hopefully this coffee's kicked in by now, so I won't completely jack this takeoff up. And pretty much, I mean, the takeoff is fairly straightforward. It's just, you know, with this I mean, basically you have a jet engine on the front of this airplane that's driving a prop. So, I mean, when you send it, she wants to go. And, of course, you have P factor playing a huge role in there. So she wants to go yeah, stop right here. There we go. And she's going to have a tendency to want to veer that direction, so you kind of have to be on it if you can. Hence the rudder trim that does help out a lot. Alright, so let's go ahead and put our flaps to take off there. And we'll go ahead and set our press our toggle button, and we'll go ahead and hit our landing lights right to there. And there we go. Pulse, I'm not going to use, but I think if you turn off either the taxi light or just completely off, hit pulse, then you'll get an oscillation there from, you know, kind of like a additional attention getter, so to speak. So, all right, go ahead and you're nice and lined out. See here. Sorry, trying to do two things at once here. All right, brakes there. We'll go ahead and flip this guy up here. All right, so let's see if I can do this here and not get us all jacked up. So we'll bring it up to 40%, let it line out, and release the brakes. All right, creeper on up there to 40%. Torque could be a limiting factor, so we'll watch torque. We're at 40% right there. Release those brakes. Keep her as center as possible. We're looking for about 85, and we'll see what happens here. There's 90 right there. Oops. There we go. I'll go ahead and toss a brake at gear up. All right. All right, and looks like I got a good climb right there. Hold off just a little bit and bring the flaps up. Alright, we'll go ahead and bring those flaps up.
Getting slow.
And try to stay coordinated. Be nice, check out some of this rudder trim. try to make a right turn here. Let's see, and we're around 2,000 feet, so at this point I'm going to turn off or close that inertial separator. Whoa.
Landing gear.
That was odd. My gear coming down, or what's... Okay.
Getting slow.
I know, I know. Yeah, it was kind of weird. I accidentally pressed a button on my yoke and my throttle immediately went to idle. Odd, but whatever. I put this guy in heading mode. There we go. That level change. There we go. And try to hold about 120. I'm either getting too much trim or not enough. I'm kicking a little rudder trim here, help me out. That's just another thing too, just kind of forewarning. You will give your trims there a definite workout. Of course, you know, on takeoff and climb out, you are a little busy. So just make sure you set up your hotkeys on your joystick to, you know, something that's accessible for you and easy to access. Because I'm still trying to get a good hang of what works best for me. And try to set ourselves up for more of a over here. That place. Looks better. And of course, at the sky there is. I need to tone down turbulence a little bit. And we'll go ahead and try to arm that nav mode. And of course, you have the little. Of course, you have your flight path, your programmed flight path indications up here, and little boxes. And pretty much, as long as you keep them in, as long as you keep the airplane in those boxes, you're on your flight path and you're good to go. Hopefully, we can make it in there without too much fuss. And I will say, I think it's probably about time I retired my SciTech yoke. It's getting close to, it's literally over close to 10 years old, so it's about time. Especially when you're flying add-ons like this, you know, you kind of, it makes life so much easier when you got have good joysticks, good pedals. Trim it out a little bit. Our flyer up to about 10 grand, and we'll give it to Otto. Looks like she's taking over there. And try to do some resemblance of a climb checklist. We're kind of a little late, but you know, I guess better late than never in a takeoff checklist apparently. So yeah, strobe switch. Yeah, did that. Batteries are still. Batteries are still getting charged, thank goodness. Let's see, climb speed 124, which I said about 120, but we're at like 117. I was looking to get a little more rate. Looks like she's intercepting right there though, so check. Let's see, landing lights. Alright, go ahead and turn you off. Don't need you anymore. Alright, soft check. Throttle adjust. ACS, 7 selectors. That looks good. Checklist complete. And throttle adjust. Gauges regularly check. Basically fly the airplane. Throttle, yeah, that's good. Pressurization, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, pressurization panel should be ready. I think it's up here some areas. So pressurization is good right now. The cabin's pressurized to 2,800 feet, I believe. Alright, cool. And looks like our speed's coming up. Yeah, we'll range out a little bit. Alright.
Good morning, Daddy.
Let's see here. Good morning, baby. Let's see. Nothing. What are you doing?
Single button says Airframe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, looks like she's coming up to 177. Looks good there. And then we can also go here and double check some of our systems. So electrical looks good, which I think, of course, we see the main here highlighted. You can go up here and then we could bring that to standby. Of course, we're going to get an indication there. And it's just showing that we're coming off the batteries right now. Right. Bring this up here. Of course, you see your little synoptic display change. Importance to how we have it set up. Of course, you have the main generator indication or your CAS. And just clear that guy out. Put it back on main. And fuel looks good here. Whew. All right, just FYI, parents, if you plan on flight simming, make sure you guys have the cartoons at the ready. Whew. Okay, let's see here. All right, so 184 on the speed there, 24 miles. I mean, what, 20? Yeah, 29 miles per hour. First waypoint. Honestly, we could probably go direct to FZT. So let's see how intuitive this is. The G1000 is actually a pretty intuitive system, so I believe you should be able to go direct to enter, and it should just, there we go. And you can see there we're just making a more direct routing there to FZT instead of going south all the way to Charlie Quebec Yankee VOR, whichever VOR that is. I'm not exactly sure, but what is that one? Yeah. What is that? I think it was Cedar Creek, something like that. Should take a little bit of time off our trip. But I mean, just looking around, just a fantastic model. You know, and those of you, those of us, I say those of you because I do it all the time. You know, you want to jump in, it's like, we'll just not worry about the checklist. And, you know, it's kind of, it would at least, I mean, it would behoove you to at least double check the electronic checklist here to make sure you guys didn't miss anything. Because I did it this morning. The ignition was off. So, you know, if there's no ignition, they obviously it can't be any combustion. So you'll end up dumping fuel inadvertently and flooding the engine out. And I say flooding the engine out, but introducing excess fuel into the system, which I guess can be. But you know, if it's handled properly, I mean, just shutting it down, getting out of it, motoring the engine to clearing out the excess fuel vapors and such, and getting back into it. You know, shouldn't have any problems. Now I do get a little indication saying that your simulator is running slow, which not sure why, other than the fact that I'm streaming. I don't know. But those are ground speed 226. And I mean, honestly, we're kind of gingerly cruising. We're really not in it. I think the let's see, chapter 5.8. And in case you guys are wondering what documentation I'm using for the TBM, it's actually the TBM Pilot's Operating Handbook, literally the freaking handbook for the actual airplane, which I'll post here in the description. I really need to change this to X. I don't even know if. There we go. There we go. Let's see here. Chapter 5. See if we can get some performance numbers. Maximum cruise. What's our O18? Yeah, we definitely got plenty of performance to spare. I'm afraid. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it a little bit and see what she gives here. I'm gonna try to see if I can get up to about 60% torque. See what she does. And also, as well, it's, you know, nice and cool right now, so the performance is going to be pretty nice. FD. Oh, you can window it. Can you expand a little bit? Okay. Cool. I guess I kind of threw off the old display too. I made the screen as well, but let's see, 61%. Back it up just a smidget. There we go. 60%. Yeah, we'll hang out around like 58, 59, somewhere around there. 59% torque. Our NG still at 87%, which is not bad at all. Air and turbine temps well within limits. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. And of course, you know, you have the PT6 on this thing, the Pratt & Whitney PT6 engine, and I mean, the thing's just like freaking the thing. I mean, the thing's like a standard in the, I mean, in the industry. I mean, it's almost like, you know, you almost expect problems if you have anything else. I know a lot of your other turboprops still run direct drive engines, Garrett's, TP331 or something like that. You know, every now and then you'll see a GE sprinkled amongst the sprinkled in the mix, but I mean, in terms of reliability, I mean, everyone swears by Pratt & Whitney. I mean, they're pretty robust engines. I mean, they can definitely take a beating. And they seem to have accurately simulated an X-plane somehow. But, you know, let's see. Actually, I want to look at this real quick. So just kind of showing the engine temperatures right now. Of course, this is basically a schematic of the engine and showing the various temperatures at various points. So your bearing temps, gearbox temps. What your prop will be on this end here. Oil from bearings, oil from tank. I think they also have something, what is it? Gear info. Brake temps. Let's see what else they have. Electrical info. Let's see. Wow. First time I've actually looked at this. Wow. Voltage, 28 volts. Assuming this is a 24 volt system. Let's see what else they have in here. ECS, so. Okay, so basically this is the your air conditioning pack or whatever it is. Air conditioning system. A lot of variables here that most of us care not to look at. Oh man, but it's just amazing the amount of detail put in this thing. And look, let me look at this. We're at 191, 237 knot ground speed. I mean, it's yeah, pretty good for 4 seats total. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. If I am, please correct me in the description. I want to know. I believe this is, if not one of the fastest turboprops in the world. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or probably the fastest turboprop in this category. It's pretty quick. I think the company, I'm probably going to mess this up. I'm going to say it. The company's name is Dyer, or it's D-A-H-R or D-H-U. Hold on, let me look at it now. Now I messed it up. Now I got to figure it out. Let's see. Let's see. Was it? That was right. D-A-H-E-R. So Delta Alpha Hotel Echo Romeo aircraft. And yeah, so I think this is the 900. I think there's like a 930 or something like that. This may be the 930 or I don't know. I think this is like 900 and there's like 930. And from what I've read, I think the biggest difference, I think there's like a touchscreen display here. I'm pretty sure there's some other features to justify the cost. But yeah, this is of course, there's some other videos that actually show a better operation of the airplane, and I highly recommend. There's a few of them out there. There's a guy named Jason. It's actually real world. A guy named Jason. He actually solos in this airplane. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was one of the technical advisors for the project. So definitely check him out. And yeah, so if you guys do decide on purchasing this, or those of you who do decide to check it out, just like I said, just double check your stability augmentation, play around with it, because it is just frustrating. You're gonna be excited and you're just gonna jump in and go, and some of you very well may be able to just jump in and go, but I think there's a small percentage of folks out there who had issues with, especially it was only on takeoffs and landings. It'll just get extremely squirrely to the point where it was just uncontrollable. So, but yeah, it's been pretty busy time for flight sim. You had this come out about a month or so ago. Then Vertex just released a DA62, which I'm just really excited about on P3D. And Sean Maloney from Real Air jumped back on the saddle and is just blowing our minds once again with a beautiful rendition of a DA62 multi-engine aircraft, and for P3D. If you guys have yet to check it out, if you guys do have P3D, definitely give it a look. I think Arabesque has one for X-Plane, which I have not tried just yet. But I'm kind of looking forward to trying that one and kind of comparing the two and see which one not so much which one's better, but just like the, you know, what approach, you know, Vertex took, as you know, as to what approach Arabesque took, and just you know, looking at the same aircraft from different perspectives. Then you have what FlySimware, they did a Falcon 50, which is amazing. But I went ahead and upgraded to 4.4, which the Falcon itself works great with 4.4. Excuse me. The only problem is I'm using Flight 1's GTN 750, and I don't think the 750 plays well with 4.4 as of right now. So you can jump in the configurator and change it to like just a regular 530, I think, Garmin 530, and that'll at least get you by until Flight 1 decides to go ahead and update the flight. Go ahead and update 750 to be compatible with 4.4. All right, as of right now, which today is the 19th or something like that. I don't know, 17th. As of the 17th, it may already be compatible. I don't know. I'll have to actually look at that myself and double check to make sure. And I believe people have also been having issues. I'm gonna come on down. I'm gonna come on down to 7,000. I believe people have also been having problems with the weather radar. If you use the Milviz or the REX weather radar, apparently people have been having problems with that too. So nothing that really affects the overall the overall operation of the airplane. But you know, those of us who just have to have all the extra, you know, probably hold off for a little bit and see what happens. Then, to top it all off, this coming in weekend, I think, Fly the Mad Dog X is releasing the, I guess, the full PBR update, and I think it's a Dash 88 upgrade. So you go from you have the 82 plus the MD88 simulation, which I'm thinking they're going to charge for it. I think. Reason being is, let's bring it out by idle. The reason, yes, I know. The reason being is that they made a comment on Facebook regarding, you know, he's not looking to charge for the PBR upgrade, but just for the Dash 88 upgrade, which leads me to believe they're probably going to end up charging for the upgrade. So I mean, for the Dash 88 upgrade. So which I don't think is going to be too terribly bad. You know, might be a few extra bucks or something like that. I don't know, but I mean, it's going to be it's a done deal for me. I mean, it's already pot. Okay. And this is another caveat to this airplane. Definitely stay ahead of it, because the I mean, she's quick. We're 23 or 23 nautical miles now. I wanted to start a little earlier, but kind of got sidetracked with all the flight sim awesomeness. But that's, I mean, it's just, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Let's jump back in this checklist here. Cruise, pressurization. It's good. Cruise parameters, good. Descent to altimeter settings, I believe, should be 3026, I think. That, yeah, 3026. The ice system, as required, is clear. Extremely clear. What else we got going on here? Gauges. Looks good here. Fuel quantities, 49 both sides. It's good. Check. Passenger briefing. Blah, blah, blah. Passenger table stowed. Alright, so we'll dive out of that real quick. And normally you will want to pay attention. You got 2 tanks, which, you know, just like any other general aviation airplane, you want to balance between each wing. But the TBM makes it easy for you. There is a auto selection mode that you can run that automatically flips tanks, I think every 5 minutes or so, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's every 5 minutes. It flip-flops. Alrighty, so yeah, we're about 17. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. My sinuses are just insane right now. But yeah, we're about 17 miles out from Nacogdoches, and we'll probably end up overflying and getting an idea what the winds are doing, and we may cross midfield for downwind of around the 45 for a downwind or something like that. We'll just kind of have to play it by ear. I believe the airport is uncontrolled. Coming in just a little bit. We're gonna power up. Power up just a little bit. And we'll... One thing that did kind of surprise me about this airplane, it's extremely responsive to power inputs, especially decreasing power. Then again, you do have a ginormous spinning fan in front, but I mean, when you get out of it, I mean, you really need to kind of watch your speed, especially on approach. You'll notice here once we start bringing in flaps and landing gears and all that fun stuff, the speed drops off significantly. So I believe I need to try to get here. Let's see. Yeah, just like that, their speed bled off. Just kind of have to be on your P's and Q's there. Okay. All right. Like I said, we'll cross midfield, see what's going on. Visibility doesn't seem the best. About 9 miles out. Yeah, we'll go ahead and hit that landing line. Normally, you'd want to go ahead and turn on your inertial separator. I don't know. Typically, to me, once you start getting your radar altimeter, at that point, you know, you'd want to go ahead and turn it on. I mean, only reason being bird strikes, things like that, drones nowadays. I mean, you know, I was already made freaking, you know, DJI taking your TBM down, but I mean, I'm assuming it could happen. So normally, like I said, once I hit radar altimeter, I'll go ahead and turn on my inertial separator. And everything looks good up there. Dive on over here. Let's see, the approach, yep, looks good. Our separator switch, full this tank, select. Go for right now. It's about 5 miles out. We'll cross midfield. Hopefully, try not to jack this up. Let's see. All right, 4 miles out. And we'll zoom in a little bit there. Give us a little extra situational awareness. All right, 139 knots, about 2 miles out. And being that the nose of this thing's so bloody long, you're probably not gonna see it, especially if you just cross directly over. And actually, I'll tell you what we're probably gonna do. We're probably just gonna go ahead and take her on over. This almost makes me wonder. I know on the DA62, the Diamond 62, actually has a control wheel steering feature, which would come in pretty handy, especially if you want to kind of make minor adjustments. I wonder if this thing has it in real life. I'm almost kind of curious to look that up. Let's see, we'll go ahead and try to get out of it real quick. And we've got the radar altimeter there. Go ahead and turn on that inertial separator. And as you can see, yeah, I mean, barely where we're at 0% torque. And we're dropped quite a bit of speed. So we're crossing midfield now. And I think we're going to be favoring left downwind. So try to do this, and yep, inertial separator is on. Now this is where, like I was saying last night, this is where track IR comes in super handy. I was lazy this morning and didn't feel like setting it up. I was like, meh. Alright. Story. Looking like here. Alright, try not to ruin this perfectly good airplane. Full power. Let's see here.
Getting slow.
I know. Full power. Alright, and drop some flaps there. We'll go ahead and make a base leg. And this is where having glass setups like the G1000 helps out situational awareness, because you can kind of reference yourself a little bit, and that'll help you get your bearings. Hopefully I'll roll out on this thing halfway decent. I can't really, a little difficult to tell.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
And yep, you're down.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Alright, let's see here.
Daddy,
And we'll put in that last notch of flaps. And we'll try to use power to control our altitude and pitch to control our speed. Try to get out of it a little bit to drop some altitude, and pitch to for a little nose down to control our speed. And of course, if it's not feeling right, I mean, going around is always the best option. I think we can make this work though. Hopefully. Power there. Try to fly it onto the runway. Alright, we're down right there. Down right there. Back pressure kind of helps slow us down. Didn't really need much. I tried not to use much reverse if I can possibly help it. Just try to mitigate any fog ingestion, but I mean, if you Heck, if you got it, use it, you know. Alright, go ahead and bring flaps up. And taxi light. I'm just not a fan of the little arrow up and down manipulators at all, because they're like, okay, where's the spot, where's the spot? That just, you know. And we'll just bring that guy down there. And like I said, nothing special. You know, a small airport there, added a few buildings. I mean, a lot of times it's really all you want. You know, especially I noticed a lot in P3D, some of the airports, which is actually getting better thanks to Orbix. You got a lot of the free airports now, so they're adding a lot of random locations. But there are still some spots you'll land and there's nothing there. But you know, you can fire up WED on X-Plane and, you know, throw you a few buildings down, which, you know, hey, I've been in this airport, and throw you a few a few of the buildings down that comes to mind and upload it, and you know, you can build upon that and have yourself a pretty decent airport in a short period of time. Alright, so we'll go ahead and bring that checklist up there. Lights off. Alright, now next. Next, landing gear control. I think we'll actually hit this turn here, though. I believe we'll hit. Just going through the checklist. A lot of this you already kind of do subconsciously, but it's something you want to double check yourself, right? So, especially on the yaw damper on landing, like if you don't turn that off, you're veering off the runway. It's pretty much guaranteed. All right, let's see here. Probably park her over somewhere around here. Decent little FBO. Alright, here. Go ahead and stop her right there. That parking brake. And normally here's cast warning. What they recommend is you place the throttles back in flight idle, which it kind of helps cool off starts cooling the engine down there. You see the ITT creeping down just a smidget, and for 2 minutes. So normally this 2 minutes, I'll just try to go through the checklist here. Let's see, basically turn off all your airframe, de-icing, inertial separator switch, which we did have that on. Your bleed air switch. From the, might as well turn the AC off too. So AC off, bleed air off. So let's check all that. Radar, standby, transponder, ground, flaps up, strobe switch off, and let's go ahead and turn this off while we're at it. Trims, bring it back to takeoff position, which is kind of there anyway. Takeoff position. Let's see, shut down, parking brake set, AC switch off, flight idle for 2 minutes, good there. Taxi light off, and AP and trim switch off, and throttle cut off there. So we'll bring this guy over here to other. Allow the prop to catch up, and then should just be able to bring her down to, whoop, come on, down to there, and straight to cut off. Check, inertial separator switch off. Let's see here. Check, KOCH external lights off. All switches off. Let's see. And fuel select switch off. That's good. That's good. That's good. Parking brake set. And let's double check, make sure everything else is kosher. Looks pretty good. And check. And that's pretty much it. Alrighty, and we'll go ahead and hit our crash bar here, turn off everything. And this will turn off by itself. And go ahead and throw your chocks down. Crack the door open. Nope, crack the door open, go ahead and push it. And open up your payload. Chopped up there, so go ahead and put on your little covers, which they do recommend you put them on. And you go ahead and put on your intake caps and everything and tie downs for your engine, which it'll put those on once the engine is cooled off. And peel covers, keep the dirt daubers out, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So pretty decent flight. I definitely need a little more time in it for sure. I mean, this thing's a blast to fly. It just takes some getting used to. So yeah, so hope this provided a little bit of additional insight. Like I said, a lot of you guys probably already seen it from all the news and everything on it. So Hotstart TBM 900, definitely get a chance to check it out on AKRacing. And until then, hopefully I'll be on here next, well, probably not, maybe today or tomorrow. So let's be sure to double check the channel. Feel free to like and or subscribe, comment, whatever you so desire. But until then, guys, you guys take care of yourselves, and Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.